Amen, frères. Quand nous allons arriver, nous sommes capables d'entendre ça, bon Dieu gagne pour nous. Et nous gagnons maintenant avec nous, Dr. Don Menchio. He is from Gulfstream Baptist Association. This is the local association that we are a part of from Florida Baptist Convention for the state and Southern Baptist Convention for the country. He is a man that we appreciate and love very much. Everybody has some special gifts. He is one of many leaders that led the Gulfstream Baptist Association since we became a member. I believe we became a member in 2001. But he is one that we like his approach very much. He is someone I would call a rassembleur, maybe a gatherer in English, I hope it's right. Because he is trying to gather everybody. And that is why we have him more. Every year we have him at least once in the church, because he tried to keep close contact with all the pastors of Gulfstream Baptist Association. And we thank God for that, and we thank you, Dr. Menchio, for what you're doing in the association. May God continue to bless you in your ministry and lead our churches in the right direction so we can do more impact for the kingdom of God. So we are glad to have you. Would you please say welcome to Dr. Menchio?
Well, I'm going to let you be seated. I spend an inordinate amount of my time. Talking to people about differences. Just among Baptists, today in Broward County, in worship, we're speaking 13 different languages. Sometimes I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I have a Spanish speaker in my office who is followed by a Hungarian. Who's followed by a Korean. And then 2 or 3 Haitians. And I don't know where in the world I happen to be at the time. Because we are so different. Even when I talk to a culture, I'm talking to differences. You see, this congregation is made up of 2 vastly different groups. There's a group of you were born in Haiti, and for whatever reason, economics, politics, you ended up here in South Florida. But your children were born here. They don't see themselves as Haitian. They may speak your language, but they're South Floridian. This is home. And the dynamics of that are driving most of our Haitian churches crazy. They do not know what to do with it. So today, I feel really good Because I'm not going to talk about differences. I'm going to talk about something every believer in Jesus Christ has in common. It does not matter if you're from Haiti or from Middle Georgia like I am. It does not matter whether you are white or yellow or red or brown or black. We all have this in common. And I think that's the problem, is that so often we talk about the differences without remembering there is something real that is common. Every one of us has a responsibility to build our lives before God. The title of the message today is Life Construction 101. How do you build a life? I'm going to read first from Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 through 7. I'm going to be reading from the Christian Standard Bible, a very powerful new translation. Here's what the Word of God says. Therefore, be imitators of God as dearly loved children, and walk in love as Christ also loved us and gave himself for us, a sacrificial and fragrant offering to God. But sexual immorality and any impurity or greed should not even be heard of among you, as is proper for saints. Obscene and foolish talking or crude joking are not suitable, but rather giving thanks. For no one recognizes this: every sexually immoral or impure or greedy person who is an idolater does not have an inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God. Let no one deceive you with empty arguments, for God's wrath is coming on the disobedient because of these things. Therefore, do not become their partners. The first construction principle is that you have to have the right focus point. It says, be imitators of God. If you're going to build a life that's right, your focus has to be completely on God. So much so that you become an imitator of Him. I'm fascinated by people that can do impressions. I can't do that at all. But if you've noticed, there are people who can actually almost sound completely like someone else. There's a guy in sports these days named Frank Caliendo. And he does incredible impressions. He had President George Bush down perfectly. If you closed your eyes and didn't know it was Frank Caliendo, you would swear it was President Bush. And so I was looking at that, and I read something. It took Frank Caliendo 2 years to master how to talk like George Bush. So if it takes 2 years to sound like George Bush, how long is it going to take you to be an imitator of God? Well, I got an answer for you. It's going to take you a lifetime. It doesn't matter where you're starting out. If you're going to be an imitator of God, you are going to take a lifetime to do it. And you do it a little at a time. So that you know that you are actually looking and sounding like God. So how do you do it? First of all, there has to be a focus. You want to be an imitator of God? You won't get it if you're practicing one time out of every week. But there's a lot of people in church. They're really good on Sunday. But when Monday comes around, God doesn't even have part of their life. You're going to be an imitator of God. You better be practicing on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday and every day of the week. You have to learn His character. You have to understand His characteristics. And then you start putting them on your life. Now here's something you need to know from the passage. If you're a Christian, this is not even an option. The way that this passage is written, it is a command. God has said to us, be imitators of me. By the way that this is structured. Now, Paul acknowledges that it's something that you have to begin to do. Well, what I'm saying to you is, you won't become an imitator of God if you're not trying to become an imitator of God. It's going to require your participation. And don't get the idea that this is supposed to be some kind of legalistic thing. Do you notice what the word said there? Be imitators of God as dearly loved children. Have you ever noticed how good God is? You've seen O'Danny's 3 children. You've seen O'Danny's 3 children. Any doubt they're his? Is there any doubt they're his? You can see Him in them. Thank God for the beautiful mother that he talked about. Because all of that beauty's kind of balanced O'Danny out of the picture, except that you can still see him. It's a terrible thing to abuse a man and make him translate it, isn't it? If you're a parent, do you remember that moment? When you turned around and your little child was acting like you. Maybe the way you walk, maybe some movement that you make, and they weren't making fun of you. They loved you so much they were trying to be like you. That's what the word is saying. That we ought to love our Lord so much that we want to be like Him. And we practice being like Him. So that's the first principle. Have to have the right focus point. The second thing is we have to have the right life atmosphere.
Deuxième point, c'est que nous besoin gagner atmosphère la vie nous droite.
Be imitators of God as dearly loved children and walk in love.
Et c'est pour nous imitateurs de bon Dieu, nous mêmes petits, mais c'est pour nous marcher dans l'amour.
The words there in love create an atmosphere.
Mot dans l'amour a créé une atmosphère.
And we are to walk in that atmosphere.
Et nous besoin marcher dans l'atmosphère ça.
We have an atmosphere here on this earth.
Nous avons une atmosphère ici sur la terre.
And the thing that is most essential to us in it is oxygen.
Et ça qui est essentiel dans l'atmosphère ça pour nous c'est l'oxygène.
We send you to the moon.
Nous voyons dans la lune.
And we don't give you oxygen,
Et si nous pas par oxygène,
your body's going to stay on the moon,
eh bien corps va prêter dans la lune.
but it's going to be a dead body.
Mais c'est un corps qui mourit la vie.
Because you cannot survive without the atmosphere that contains oxygen.
Parce que vous pas capable de résister en tant qu'humain dans une atmosphère qui pas gagne oxygène.
You cannot be an imitator of God if you do not live and walk in an atmosphere of love.
Ou pas capable imitateur quand tu vraiment sous pas habiter vivre dans une atmosphère d'amour.
What does it mean to walk in love?
Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire pour marcher dans l'amour?
It means that we live a life like the Lord Himself lived.
L'Ivre dit que nous vivions la vie tant que le Seigneur Jésus lui-même l'était vivre.
Have you ever had someone in your life that told you that they loved you?
Est-ce que j'aime un monde dans la vie qui dit oh, il remercie?
They may have even told you a lot,
Et on dit oh, en pile l'autre bagage.
but they never showed that they loved you.
Mais il n'a pas jamais montré qu'il remercie.
The church is filled up with people like that,
Eh bien, l'église pleine avec monde comme ça.
who out of their mouths say that they love Jesus.
En pile dans la bouche, il dit il remercie Jésus.
Some of them even say it a lot.
En pile qui répète ça en pile fois.
Or when we're having praise, they sing it and say it loud.
Parce que nous avons parlé de louange, on chantait et on dit ça à haute voix.
But they never show Jesus they love Him
Ils n'ont pas jamais montré Jésus qui le remercie.
because they're not walking in love.
Parce qu'ils n'ont pas marché dans l'amour.
Christ loved us, the Bible says.
Jésus-Christ, il remercie nous, la Bible dit nous ça.
But He didn't just tell us that,
Mais il n'a pas seulement dit nous ça,
He showed it.
il démontrait lui-même.
He gave Himself as an offering that was pleasing to God.
Il offrit tête lui comme une offrande qui te fait plaisir à mon Dieu.
Have you ever gotten a gift from someone that wasn't very special?
Est-ce que j'ai apprécié voir un cadeau d'un monde qui n'est pas très spécial?
See, the essence of giving a gift
Et qui essence pour payer un cadeau?
is not just buying something to give something to somebody.
Ce n'est pas seulement acheter un bagage et puis payer un cadeau.
If you really give a gift,
Si vous réellement payer un cadeau,
you give a gift to that person that means something to them.
vous payer un cadeau à monde ça qui veut bien un bagage à lui-même.
So if you're going to give a gift to God,
So, si vous parlez un cadeau à mon Dieu,
what does it look like?
qui ça ressemble?
Well, it looks like the gift that the Lord gave.
Est-ce que vous payez un cadeau pour mon Dieu?
It says, and walk in love as Christ also loved us and gave Himself for us, a sacrificial and fragrant offering to God.
Il dit marcher dans l'amour, tant pour le Seigneur lui-même, il remet nous, et lui montrer ça lorsqu'il baille tête pour nous, comme un sacrifice, tant pour un parfum agréable à Dieu.
Any gift that God receives, any gift that He wants, must have two parts to it. It must be sacrificial and it must be fragrant.
Eh bien, quel que soit le cadeau, ou baille mon Dieu, ou offrir par mon Dieu, il doit y avoir deux parties ça là-dedans. Il doit y avoir un cadeau pour bailler avec sacrifice et il doit sentir bon.
So I want you, if you're a Christian, to take a minute and I want you to think about something.
Et comme un chrétien, si vous êtes un chrétien, moi, je voulais vous prendre une minute pour penser à un bagage.
You've just walked before the Lord out in the world for a full week.
Vous marchez, sortir devant mon Dieu dans le monde là pour une semaine.
That walk was your gift to the Lord.
Cadeau ça, c'était cadeau à mon Dieu.
Was it sacrificial?
Est-ce qu'il était un cadeau sacrificiel?
Did you really give that week to the Lord?
Est-ce que tu as réellement baillé semaine ça à bon Dieu?
Or if you're honest, is most of the week taking care of yourself and people around you?
Ou bien semaine c'est tellement plus pour prendre soin de tête ou de monde qui va côté,
With no real thought of the Lord.
mais ou pas réellement penser à bon Dieu dans l'occasion ça.
It also is supposed to be a fragrant and beautiful gift to Jesus.
Il t'a donné également un cadeau, un parfum qui sentit bon à Jésus-Christ.
What that means is that when we are living, we're looking for ways to give to Him our best.
Ça veut dire que pendant que nous vivons, nous cherchons moyen pour nous offrir à bon Dieu le meilleur de nous-mêmes.
We make a real difference in this world if the fragrance surrounding us is pleasant.
Nous faisons une grande différence dans le monde ça. Si parfum qui sous nous, les sentit bon.
Now, I'm not talking about going down to the local store and buying a great fragrance.
Et pas parler d'aller dans le store et puis acheter un grand parfum.
I'm not going to complain about that.
Pas parler de ça.
I like fragrances.
Moi, j'aime parfum.
You know, I'm now in my second marriage. My first wife died.
Mais quand il y a ma private deuxième, madame, quand il y a madame qui est morte.
Both of them had a perfume that they really liked.
Donc tous les deux ont un parfum que ils réellement aimaient.
And if I'm walking out in a crowd somewhere and somebody's wearing that,
Et si je marche dans une foule, en côté, et puis il y a un monde qui met même parfum ça,
I turn around and start looking to see if it is that person.
moi tourner pour capable voir est-ce que c'est monde femme là qui a parfum ça.
I like fragrance.
Moi j'aime parfum.
But we're not talking about physical fragrance.
Mais je ne pas parler de parfum physique que nous mettons sur nous.
We're talking about the fragrance of a sweet, self-controlled, beautiful life that is lived for the glory of Christ.
On a parlé de un parfum de une belle vie que nous vivons pour nous faire du plaisir.
I really believe that one of the reasons we don't see greater success in evangelism
Je réalise que je pensais qu'il y a une raison que nous pas un grand succès dans l'évangélisation.
is because the world walks past our lives
C'est parce que le monde marche par ce qui est la vie, non?
and we don't smell very nice.
Et nous pas senti bon tellement devant eux.
If the fragrance of our life were more beautiful,
Si parfum la vie nous était plus belle,
here's what the world would be saying.
mais ça remonte à vie.
Where can I get some of that?
Qui peut être qu'à joindre un bagage comme ça?
The third principle and the last that we'll talk about today
Et il y a des principes là, dernier qui nous parlé aujourd'hui,
is that if you're going to build a life for God correctly,
si vous avez bâti la vie pour mon Dieu correctement,
you have to have the correct building plans.
il faut que vous ayez plan, bien bâti pour capable bâtir.
I moved into a new home about a year and a half ago.
Moi, j'étais allé dans une nouvelle maison environ 1 an et demi de cela.
And there was a problem in the electrical system.
Il y a un problème électrique dans la taille ça.
When I would turn the switch on, it wouldn't do what it was supposed to do.
Parce que moi, je mettais sur ça, on ne peut pas faire ça de le faire.
So I consulted an expert.
Moi, j'ai consulté un expert.
I had him come look,
Et moi, je vais venir regarder.
and he said,
Et il dit,
lots of people make the same mistake.
un peu le monde fait la même erreur.
Here's what they did, and here's what they should have done.
Ça a été fait, et ça a été fait.
He knows the right building plans with regard to electricity.
Il connaît de vrais plans lorsque c'est l'électricité.
But he has to be very careful.
Mais il doit être très prudent.
Unless his lovely wife, who's having a birthday,
Et à moins que madame qui gagne un anniversaire,
will become a widow.
a fini,
He has two of the more dangerous jobs on earth.
il gagne deux jobs qui sont plus différents, un job qui est plus dangereux qui gagne dans le monde.
He is an electrician,
Ils sont électriciens
and he's a pastor.
et ils sont pasteurs.
As an electrician, if he grabs the wrong thing in the wrong way, he's dead.
Et les chrétiens, s'ils manient, ça qui parle de manier, dans leur pas de moyen, la mourir.
And what is most dangerous if he's like in my house, he's following someone who did not know how to do it right.
Et lorsqu'il arrive la caille, moi, il voit que la suivre un bagage que le monde doit faire, mais on n'a pas fait le bien.
The design flaw can be deadly.
Eh bien, là, on n'a pas fait le bien, il n'a pas fait le bien, il est capable mortel sur toucher.
Hear me. There are certain design flaws in life that can destroy your Christian life.
Il y a une série de bagages comme ça dans la vie qui est capable de détruire la vie chrétienne.
He tells us about 3.
Il dit non de 3.
Sexual immorality,
Immoralité sexuelle,
impurity,
impureté,
and greed.
hein,
Greed.
et greed, et avarice.
Anything in these 3 areas that is built into your life is not only sinful, but it is stupid and destructive to a life that would be pleasing to God.
N'importe quel bagage ça, ok, nous n'avons pas gagné dans la vie, non? Il est capable de détruire la vie, non? Complètement, il est capable de détruire les gens que nous voulons vivre pour mon Dieu.
The areas of God's judgment about the world are in these 3 areas.
Et côté mon Dieu pour juger le monde, il y a 3 bagages ça, yo.
God's church is supposed to be a picture of a changed life.
L'église, bon Dieu, il t'a doué un portrait de la vie qui changeait.
But you know what the church has become?
Mais est-ce qu'on connaît qui ça l'église venue?
Photo images of the world outside.
C'est venu exactement l'image du monde dehors.
The sexual immorality of the world keeps finding its way into the
Eh
church.
bien, l'immoralité sexuelle qui est dans le monde, on y a trouvé dans l'église tout.
Now listen to me.
Pour des frères.
There are cultures right now that are all bent out of shape over the question of same-sex marriage.
Il y a un pile culture qui a un problème ça avec mariage même sexe.
Scared to talk about homosexuality.
Il y a peur pour parler de homosexualité.
Listen, homosexuality is a sexual sin.
Homosexualité c'est un péché sexuel.
But it is no more serious than sex before marriage.
Mais je dis à lui pas faire différence entre c'était sexe avant le mariage.
It is no less serious than adultery.
Il n'est pas moins sérieux que adultère.
But the attitudes of the world about homosexuality have not crept into the church so much.
Et attitude maintenant concernant l'homosexualité pas tellement fait effet dans l'église.
But we're not very upset if somebody has sex outside of marriage.
Mais nous pas tellement, ok, nous pas tellement et problème si un monde gagne sexe avant le mariage que nous avons problème pour homosexuels.
In the church as a whole, we've gotten to the place where we do not speak loudly about adultery.
Et l'église, yo, une fois nous arrivons dans côté nous pas parler tellement de l'adultère.
I'm angry about it.
Je suis fâché dans ce sens.
We had a pastor in our community who had lots of notoriety.
Nous avons un pasteur dans la communauté qui est un pasteur qui a un pile respect.
In fact, he is part of the great movement of family
Il fait partie des grands mouvements pour la famille.
because his grandfather was Billy Graham.
Et grand-père, c'était Billy Graham. C'est Billy Graham.
He came in and he took the pulpit at Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church where D. James Kennedy had been.
Et il est venu, il était remplacé et pasteur D. James Kennedy dans Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church.
Everybody knew who he was.
Tout le monde connaît qui c'était.
And now it turns out that he was immoral sexually with more than one woman during the entire time he was there at the church.
Et il est venu que je lui sexuelle immoralité sexuelle avec plusieurs, mais plus que yon fille côté de.
He's now married again.
Et qu'on est arrivé marié.
Here's my problem.
Des problèmes.
I believe the Lord Jesus Christ can forgive him completely of his sin.
Moi, je crois que Jésus-Christ est capable de pardonner complètement des péchés.
But I also believe that as a Christian leader, he no longer has the right to stand and proclaim. Sit in the pew and confess, I failed the Lord. That's what I would say to him. Sit in the pew and say, I failed the Lord. But he's forgiven me, and now I'm going to try to serve him as best I can. But don't take the notoriety of being Billy Graham's grandson and continue to work your way into pulpits where you're preaching as if nothing ever happened. We are to be pictures of God's victory in the church. Not photo images of the world just transferred in here. There are some people, however, who have their sexual life together. They're faithful to their spouse. They're not tempted to stray. Don't have any impure thoughts. But they're greedy as Midas was. We passed a sack a little while ago. Came by you. There's a standard in the scripture. The Lord asked you to give 10% of your increase. Do you know how few believers actually give 10%? See, and some of you are saying, wait a minute, go back and hammer on adultery more. I liked what you were preaching before. But you see, the problem is that it is greed that invades. I've been a pastor for 40 years. I've heard all the excuses. I can't afford to give. I'm one of the most cruel people that you've ever seen. I lived in Africa with people who truly did not have enough to eat. And yet I still preach the principle of the tithe. Do you know why I did that? It's not because I'm cruel. I said to my people, look, you're not going to have enough resources before the end of the month. Who are you going to cry out to give you what you need? And they said, to God. And I said, do you think he's going to be more responsive to an obedient child or to a thief who stole what was his? There are a huge number of people in God's church that the Lord wants to bless. But they make excuses. Well, I work hard in the church and I shouldn't have to give like other people do. I know I should tithe, but I have other bills that I need to pay. Here's my question. If your greed keeps you from being faithful to the Lord, how are you going to walk away from this sermon and believe that your life is a sacrifice and fragrant to God? You see, it doesn't even stop at the tithe.
Il pas campé seulement dans dîme, non?
There are some people who, man, that comes by, that 10% goes in.
Il y a un monde qui 10% là de là même. Il baille.
But they're absolutely stingy when it comes to their family.
Mais il est réellement dur d'être venu à la famille.
They walk by somebody who has a need.
Il ne va pas prendre un monde qui a besoin.
They don't pay attention at all.
Il ne va pas payer attention du tout.
See, it's not enough just to have one area right. If you're going to be a fragrance of God,
Il pas suffit pour gagner une seule partie droite si vous voulez un parfait pour mon Dieu.
you're going to take and you're going to do what is right.
Vous pouvez prendre pour capable faire ça qui doit.
You see, any of these cosmetic flaws,
En pile dans forme cosmétique ça yo,
sexual immorality, impurity, by the way, impurity would be things like pornography,
donc capable de tout bailler ça immoralité sexuelle et impureté qui est un peu pornographie
or greed.
ou bien l'amour pour l'argent
Cosmetic flaws bring dishonor.
et forme cosmétique ça yo côté des honneurs.
I like to play golf, but I'm not very good at it.
Moi-même à jouer golf, moi-même pas tellement bon là-dedans.
I play golf with other guys, and they're not good at it either.
Et moi, il y a quelques autres monde qui m'ont joué, pas tellement pour passer ça du tout.
My problem with them is I always look down and see what kind of ball they're playing with.
Et toujours regarder pour quelle qualité de boule utiliser.
One of the most expensive balls you can buy is the Titleist Pro V1.
Il y a un qui est très cher pour capable acheter whatever non.
They're very expensive.
Il est très cher.
It's what the professionals play.
C'est ça yo, monde qui professionnel utiliser.
I don't play with Pro V1s.
Moi-même, moi pas jouer avec eux.
They make there's this kind of ball that you can buy. It's called X Out.
Il y a un boule qui pile au marché pour capable acheter qui est le Excel something.
What happens is the ball's not quite right.
Et ça privé il pas un boule qui nécessairement bien qui peut-être qui pas bon assez.
So the company strikes out their title
Yo passé un bagage sur titre yo
and they sell them for very cheap.
et yo vend yo au marché.
When I play golf, I play with those cosmetic deficient balls.
Et lorsque moi fais golf, moi acheter ça au marché assez yo m'utiliser.
Because it would be a waste for me to spend the better.
Parce que il t'a pas un gaspillage moi pour acheter ça qui est cher.
But you know, I talk about big things.
Moi parler de gros bagages.
Do you know that God wants us to look even at the small?
Est-ce qu'on est bon Dieu veut regarder nous-mêmes à petit bagage petit yo?
Did you see those words in verse 4?
Est-ce que tu remarques parole ça dans verset 4?
Obscene and foolish talking or crude joking are not suitable, but rather giving thanks.
Parole folie ou bien mauvais plaisanterie, bagage ça qui pas fait sens pour monde de bien, monde qui dans l'église a parlé.
When we begin to talk the wrong way,
Lorsque nous commençons à parler en façon qui n'est pas normale,
we can impact the people around
nous
us.
sommes capables de faire impact sur le monde qui est à côté de nous.
Because we are supposed to have the fragrance of Jesus.
Parce que nous devons gagner le parfum de Jésus.
I'll close by telling you what I'm talking about there.
À part fini, par rapport à ça va parler.
I was 6 years old when I trusted Jesus as my Savior.
Moi, j'ai 6 ans lorsque j'ai accepté Jésus-Christ comme sauveur.
I had a really good Sunday school teacher.
Moi, j'ai un bon professeur de l'école du dimanche.
She taught what the Scripture says.
Il t'a enseigné qui ça la Bible dit.
And as best a little boy can, I came to understand that I was a sinner and I needed what Jesus had done for me on the cross.
Et comme un petit garçon tout petit, parce que il t'a enseigné tellement bien, il te reconnaître que ça Jésus-Christ a fait pour moi sur la croix.
And so I prayed and asked Jesus to come into my life.
Et moi, j'ai prié, moi, j'ai demandé Jésus-Christ entrer dans la vie, me sauver.
So I told my mom and dad.
Et moi, j'ai dit, maman, ma papa, ça.
They said, "You're too young, you don't know what you're doing."
Je dis, ah, encore, je ne vais pas faire.
And I cried.
Et je crié.
Now, they'd been teenagers when they'd been saved.
Yo, même j'étais adolescent, là, j'étais sauvé.
They couldn't conceive of a 6-year-old understanding.
Je ne pas capable de comprendre que si mon 6 ans est capable d'accepter Jésus-Christ et comprendre ça.
But still, it hurt my little heart that they wouldn't believe me.
Mais ça t'a blessé parce qu'il n'y a pas de point.
But I had parents that loved me.
Mais je connais parents qui aiment.
And they decided that maybe they were off base.
Et je pensais que peut-être dans ça, on pensait c'est pas ça.
So they took us to see one of our cousins who was a deacon in our church.
Et on est allé où il y a un ancien qui est un diacre dans l'église.
And he took me back to a back bedroom.
Et il prend l'aller dans une chambre avec moi.
And he walked me through the gospel.
Il marchait avec dans la parole de Dieu.
And I explained to him how I had trusted Jesus.
Et moi expliqué à lui-même comment moi j'ai cru Jésus-Christ.
And we came from that place to where my parents were.
Et nous sortis dans place à côté parents de hier.
And he said, I believe he's saved as much as anybody that I've ever known.
Et il dit par comme ça, moi crois qu'il sauvé pour tout l'autre monde qui vraiment sauvé que nous jamais connaît.
This little boy understands the things of the faith.
Et petit garçon ça, tout petit à lui comprendre les choses de la foi.
It was such a wonderful moment for me.
C'était un tellement bon moment pour moi.
10 minutes later,
10 minutes après,
that same deacon
même diacre ça,
told my parents a joke that was slightly off color.
les parents ont plaisir, ont joke quand il pas tellement fit.
And it crushed me inside.
Et il blessé maintenant écrasé.
That the man who had just talked to me about Jesus
Mon qui te fait ce parler avec Jésus-Christ,
was saying words like that.
ça va dire bagaille comme ça.
The fragrance of what I experienced just got swept away.
Même bon centaine de senti sur lui à qu'on y allait disparaître.
Because he let his mouth reflect the world rather than Jesus.
Parce qu'il te bouche lui dit un bagaille qui fait refléter le monde plus que Jésus.
I've thrown a lot at you today.
Moi dis un peu bagaille matin à vous-même.
But here's the bottom line.
Mais ça qui est important.
If you want to build a life, if you want to build a life
Si vous voulez bâtir la vie
that is correct before God,
qui vient devant mon Dieu,
He has to be your focus.
c'est lui qui doit focus sur vous.
And it has to be lived in an environment of love so that your life is a fragrance that floats out everywhere that you are.
Et vous devez vivre dans un environnement, dans une atmosphère pour que l'amour manifesté avec un parfum tout côté au passé.
And as you build,
Et pendant que vous bâtir,
you have to make sure that you're not building defects into what you're doing.
et pendant que vous bâtir, pas pour bâtir mal, pour mettre des bagailles qui pas pour la construction.
The world is waiting
Le monde attend
for people who build their lives the right way.
pour le monde qui bâtit la vie, change de bâtir.
Because people like that
Parce que le monde comme ça,
can influence others for
ils
Jesus.
sont capables d'influencer l'autre monde pour Jésus.
My Father and my God, I thank you today for this congregation.
Thank you, Seigneur, pour la congrégation ce matin.
I thank you for their pastor who loves them and who loves you.
Merci pour le pasteur qui remet yo.
I thank you for the success that you've given them in this temple,
Nous disons merci pour le succès au baillot dans le temps ça.
in the wonderful music and expression of worship.
Merci pour belle musique et belle expression d'adoration.
But I pray more than any other time in their lives, Lord,
On a demandé au Seigneur plus que toute autre bagaille dans la vie.
that confronted by the Word of God,
Parce que confronté avec la parole de Dieu,
this would be a congregation full of people building lives for you.
ça a une congrégation qui plaît le monde qui a bâti la vie pour vous.
And as we see you work,
Et pendant que nous travaillons,
we'll give you the praise and the glory.
on va parler de louange et gloire.
In Jesus' name.
Dans le nom de Jésus-Christ.